At this point, with several witnesses under your belt, it feels as if you're almost beyond reproach yourself. Is
Yeah,
there
right.
anything else you want to bring up or mention? So far,
Mention that
you've only clarified
I
how truthful you are.
I am truthful in my description. I do not have any proof, nor I believe I do not have any proof of the corpse of Skaven other than my words. I am full of verena. I would not slander this person without if I didn't have any serious concern.
Alright. And so, at this point, the Priest of Rena will, ask you to rest. And, the Priest of Rena will, of course, acknowledge, Berthold's, statement. This
Yeah,
is all, of course, only circumstantial so far. We must simply weigh, how much we can believe one person over the other. And so it is at this time that we wish the defense to make their own case for their own innocence in this matter. It is not that one person might be more or less truthful than the other, but that perhaps something here may have been misunderstood. But given Gustav's trustworthiness, it seems unlikely that anything that he's presented so far could be falsified. So, what does the defense do? How would they present their story of the events that occurred? Kadesi.
Isn't Bertrand or Berthold being my attorney?
Well, actually, the noble congregation of lawyers are your attorneys, and that's what I'm counting on here.
Indeed.
If everything goes to plan, you and me say nothing, and the lawyers say everything, because they're going to have the run of the field on what the actual law is. And since apparently Gustav's only...
And they are also here to coach you on things to say or not to say, to stop you before you say terrible things. And, of course, they are listening to Berthold's coaching and will act on that eventually.
Yes, and the fact that Gustav's entire defense appears to be character defense of his own truthfulness. That just means everything else on our side only has to be legal loopholes.
You're a priest of Verena, so yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. Also, the
fact
fact that Gustav, in my view, I'm not a lawyer, is implicated himself as also having worked with the Skaven, having done nothing to prevent this. I don't know. That seems pretty damning in itself, too.
Right. Well, we'll start from the beginning first, and to answer Kadesi's question, this trial is only occurring because Gustav is a journeyman wizard who seems to be very well trusted and also has connections. Someone just accusing someone else might require an investigation from a witch hunter, who would then use their authority, or something of the like. However, Gustav seems to be very well connected. Especially given that half of the wizard lords are available here, several priests, as well as the bailiff himself. So Kadesi, what is your side of the story right now?
To be
Can I
edited by your
confer with
lawyers.
my lawyer?
Absolutely. If you say something, I will try to modify it in your favor here.
Okay,
But
so
basically they are saying that you should simply plead ignorance of the case.
gotcha. Yes, I didn't conspire with Skavens to take over the Empire.
I guess
Do you go on? What is your association with this so-called Skaven?
Berthold's gonna lean over and say, just claim ignorance to the charges being placed against you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just repeat that out loud.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess that's the same thing, sure, yeah.
But she did at least say as much, so...
Yeah.
If you're not going to offer up a story for them, I can go ahead and proceed to some questions then to try to filter out the truth then.
Do the lawyers not get a chance to talk? It's literally the entire reason I thought they were here.
Right. That's the
Again,
thing. I want to do things in order.
no, I understand that, but the lawyers tend to talk, and then the defendant doesn't usually talk for themselves unless they get pulled out. So unless she's being brought out to say something in her defense, and since this is apparently the defense's turn, I don't know why they would bring her out unless they thought they would be something served. It'd be the lawyers doing all the talking.
Well, right now it's literally, what's your story and what's your story? This is simply laying everything out. This isn't like cross-referencing or anything, or whatever that is.
Right, but this just sounds more like high school mediation. That's what do you?
Well,
what do you say
I'm
happened?
not exactly a lawyer or a judge myself, so I'm doing my best. I didn't expect
know.
it to go here today.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
know.
not as-
At the same
yeah,
time, though, what you heard from me is that I'm trying to implicate high law on the matter over the low law that these people operate under.
Alright, so the judge will at least ask the question to try to clarify what's happening, other than just like, I don't know. And his first question, of course, is, so what is your association with this so-called Skaven? And to one, the lawyers will just eject and go, and that is a good question. For you see, she has no, true relation to him, but merely was a worker of convenience.
No prior affiliation is what that is.
No prior affiliation whatsoever.
Excuse me.
And to
Not-
prove it, we have brought the very mercenary company from which Kadesi was working for, and from which Gustav here had hired on help. The mercenary company leader will go to the front, and he will go ahead and start to explain his own case. Well, you see, I have a contract with the Wizards Guild, and I always hire out. I had 2 new individuals on staff, or rather 3. And of course, to put them to work and to put them to their areas of expertise as I had been told, I went ahead and hired them on to this job for the College of Wizards. Such is as it is. And at a fair price, too. Gustav signed the contract and had agreed to all terms. Of which, of course, he's not followed through on them. There is no body for either this one who simply called himself H, nor the one named Conrad. Tell me, where are those bodies, Gustav?
I already said where they were. They did not return from the mine.
And so
Again,
they cannot receive a proper burial.
This Kevin was under your employment. You told me when I wanted to be sure that you know him, he was a good combatant. So either you lied to me when you said you know him, or either you lied to me about his true nature, not reporting heresy or chaos or agent of that will sow the doom of the Empire is also a crime. You can feign innocence or just mere affiliation with them.
Objection.
Go ahead. I was going to.
He's leading the witness. He is not.
Objection! The witness had just given me an answer. I responded truthfully.
The mercenary company owner will go ahead and clear his throat and go, well, you caught me there. I was lying. I lied to you, and I upsold my mercenaries.
So you were
Truly,
lying.
they were not as good as I had thought, but you did still sign the agreement. That is all that mattered.
I don't think the law upholds Skaven working for humans. And by your ignorance, you put the Empire in danger and the city of Middenheim in danger. May I remind you that the city has been a siege by of chaos.
The judge will go ahead and hold up his hand politely.
Gustav will shut up, and I will.
Okay. I believe he's still speaking for the time being. We will allow the witness to continue his side of the story for now. He will go ahead and continue at this point and say, I run an open mercenary company. I allow any to come work with me if they can claim any fighting ability whatsoever. I do not question their backgrounds or their nature. as it is not my place to interrogate people. Rather, I merely provide them with jobs, and given the city's current state, with refugees constantly looking for work and for food, I felt I was doing my civic duty to make this city a better place by offering gainful employment to all who come to my doors. Why a Skaven would decide to come to work for a mercenary company to hire out to wizards is far beyond my ability to speculate. But were it a refugee, I would not have turned them away. Could not have possibly known, nor is it my place to have known. And of course, our fair wizard had agreed to the contract. If I am guilty of association, or Cadesi is, then certainly Gustav is as well.
Gustav
To
still
which
raises his
all
hand.
of the lawyers on the defense side all just sort of, give knowing nods to each other.
Gustav will raise his hand to reply to that.
The judge will, of course, choose to address you. Yes, Gustav.
I find it very unlikely that a man contracting mercenaries would not know of his man abilities and would. You didn't. Do you have any other refugees that you have actually engaged and are under contract right now? I've done that, but this is
Indeed,
not
there are a number, and I have brought the papers to indicate my current list of potential employees.
very well.
Really, it's more like contractors than direct employment, as it does go job by job rather than
That does
continual
not.
salary.
Ignorance is not an excuse against heresy. Again, why didn't do something? That's a good question. We were in the middle of a combat. We were outside the city. We had people to save from a silver mine. From orcs.
Objection.
With skins.
I'm objecting.
Okay.
Being
Judge
I'm
addresses
actually
you.
on the legal side, so I can actually, as a lawyer. The question lacks
Indeed.
foundation. It has nothing to do with the circumstance of this trial.
Objection.
You don't have to object. You can just respond.
Respond. No. They said I was guilty by association. I fought the orc till I was knocked out. My compatriots got me back. As soon as I came back, I prepared my case to report the heresy.
Your Honor, this trial has nothing to do with Gustav's, the accusation against Gustav. That would be a separate trial. He is not permitted to argue his own defense during the defense of my defendant.
Then why your witness accused me?
The witness is allowed to say whatever they want on stand, Gustav. If you were a lawyer, you might understand that.
All of your lawyers nod to each other.
Is your only defense defamation of character, my lord?
Again, objection. That is not relevant to the trial at hand.
The priest of Rena will go ahead and raise her own hand for deferment to herself. Or himself. I don't know, I haven't given a gender or a name, doesn't matter. The priest. They will kind of, stop a moment, think, and say, as this case does weigh between the statements of one against another, character and intent does all matter. So far, this witness has allowed us to demonstrate in some part the ignorance of Cadesi, and his own ignorance may be contested later at his own trial. However, Gustav, while they are correct, you are not on trial here at this moment. The Skaven did accompany you, did he not? And he did
Yes.
fight and die out there under your command and direction, correct?
Yes, of that I am guilty of not having witnessed earlier his true nature.
I see. I believe that is all the information that we will need at this trial at the time. If even you could make a mistake, perhaps others could.
She called him repeatedly a friend, traveled alongside him. know him more than I do. I was in a hurry. I made a mistake, but I do not believe, at least maybe she didn't knew of a thing that unlikely as she was not surprised, but this man, this contractor, made a sold the service of a Skaven.
Um, at the moment, one of the lawyers will go ahead and object and say, Your Honor, statements that address others are not necessarily empirical proof of a relation. For instance, my compatriots here are my friends at the time being, though I do not know this one very well, he says, pointing to one of the other lawyers. It was simply a term our client used to describe another that they worked with, and nothing more. And as of course our witness has stated, she could not have been any more ignorant, as they have only met to work.
Tell me, do you know about elf physiology? Do anyone know in this room about it?
Everyone turns to the elf.
Is it not true that elves are far better senses than humans?
I can't wait until we have to throw a ball at a blind man.
Elves can sometimes have better vision.
Oh, no, that was wrong. The correct answer would have been to
those
say,
years-
what?
One of
And
the
those-
lawyers will go ahead and interject on Kadesi and say, Whatever sensory abilities my client has does not preclude the ability to have failed to have noticed in the first place.
I did not contest that. I just point the unlikeliness of that happening.
Alright, how about this? Objection.
isn't
It's
it
a
true,
leading
too?
question.
But isn't it true, too, that the dwarves and the elves hate Skaven kind? How is it then perhaps that an elf would see a Skaven as their true friend, then, as you have been claiming?
Simple. Chaos corrupts everyone, in mind and body.
Then, do you have proof that my client consorts with chaos itself?
I do not. I just pointed out that she consulted with Kevin. Of that, I am sure.
Alright.
So
Let's
this man.
see. And now I'm trying to think, like, if the defense has any other evidences to pull up at this time. Let's see. You have your noble help. So Kadesi and Berthold, is there anything you want brought up?
I mean,
Since you're
ignorance
controlling
is
your
still a
side.
pretty strong argument. The fact that your character evidence was all towards you, and you were then proven to have also made the same mistake. And we did also argue the meaning of the word "it," the Clinton defense, and that worked. So, I think
Yeah,
our
but
defense is pretty held strong.
And Gustav also said that ignorance was not a crime, but it was not an excuse, and he was guilty of making a mistake.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
trying to
be guilty of
remember,
making a
something
mistake. It's
Gustav
not
may have said
criminal.
earlier, if I could interject.
It's a
Gustav.
more devil.
Hold up, everyone. Gustav, did you mention something strange about the Skaven before?
Yes, it seems strange, like an engineer. Thought he was.
All right. One of the lawyers will bring out their next point and ask for you to answer some questions. Tell me about this Skaven. You said it was strange, like it was some sort of engine or something.
I thought
Tell
he was
me,
an engineer.
what was it
at
like?
first. What was this like? Be more specific, please.
Describe its appearance, how it looked, how it sounded, how it smelled.
I do not know about its smell, as I was never very too close to him, and when I was, he was covered in troll vomits. His appearance was white-like man with some contraption on his legs, mechanical ones.
Mechanical.
Seemingly, I'm not an engineer, and he sounded like, had the speech pattern of a Skaven, to be honest. Few times he spoke to me.
Did he speak often?
No,
I see. So, without being able to hear what he sounded like, with no idea what it smelled like, and of course with the appearance of some sort of mechanical nature, you suspect that someone else might be able to notice that it was a Skaven first and immediately, while the
No,
Tribe
but
died.
oh no, not first immediately, of course. It was hidden. But as we was traveling with a so-called friend, that remind me they were a friend.
As I would like to remind you, of course, that the nature of those words do not indicate a relationship.
Really, the meaning of the word friend does not include a relationship with someone. Do you really
Of
want to
course not,
debate
my
that?
friend, he says, looking at you. I definitely have no prior arrangement with you, but I'm free to call you my friend, am I not?
That would be
And
an
so,
incorrect
friends of the
statement.
friends
Then,
of the court, I believe I have made my case.
very well. If you wish to play on words to hide heresy, do so. I'm willing to stand before priest of Verina, before the magic, even.
All right. Let's see. Is there anything else anyone wants to try to bring up?
Nah.
All right. So, Gustav, you represented the best of your case, and as far as it seems, everyone does in fact believe that you were truthful. Let's see. The defense has presented their case as best as possible, and the priest Verena is fairly confident that Kadesi could in fact have been ignorant. As so too could have the mercenary company leader. Without some more definitive proof, I believe it is hard to draw a true conclusion.
Objection.
You're not
The
a
truth-
lawyer.
I
Yes,
represent
Gustav.
myself. So I can.
Okay, that's fair.
Your Sigmarite priest objects for you.
Yeah, there is a way to have definitive proof, and Temple of Venera can confer definitive proving. And I believe in this case, with the importance of matter, if one Skaven is on the surface, or no, who knows how many more, the best interest in the city will be to go before the revealing light of Verena in the magic.
Objection. It has no
Yes.
relevance to this matter. The subjects.
The absolute
No,
proof.
Liz, shut up. I say that in character, by the way. That wasn't to you.
Yeah, sure.
The relevancy of the truth of the matter has already been established using magic to reassert the truth, which, as the court has already expressed, we understand that Gustav always expresses the truth. That does not forge any new evidence in this matter.
No, but interrogating the witness and the accused with this magic would bring out the truth about if they did know or did not know about this. And I believe it is grave matter and should be entered.
One of the
Intermission.
lawyers will stand up and at least ask, do you have such a priest with you at this time?
The temple has, and I believe the
Well,
spirit of
if
the
they
law-
are not here at this time, then as they are not a part of these court proceedings, I would ask that a judgment
wait.
be rendered
Hmm.
and my
Wait.
client be allowed to return to their daily life.
Wait, just I want to say something, but I didn't page.
Okay.
I mean, that is also a legal thing to be able to try and force the end of a trial when you think you've got the winning hand. I do watch a lot of Think Like a Lawyer.
So
Alright,
many
yeah.
objection memes in chat.
Yeah, I believe the spirit of the law and the letter of the law should be followed over the letter of the law, Your Honor, and I believe at least an investigation should be launched by the witch hunters.
Objection. If we think ourselves above the law, then the entire standard and practice of our civilization is then at risk.
That's not what
You
I
just said the spirit of the law should be upheld over the letter of the law. The letter of
This
the
is a
law
divine
is...
Sabrina raises her hand.
This is a divine scripture of Verena.
Quiet.
Raises her hand. Okay, now she's a she for real. Okay. She raises her hand, raises her voice just a little bit to calm you down, and will state, the resolution of this trial may be had here, as all evidence that can be brought has been brought. if there is the potential for an additional investigation into why this Skaven was at this mercenary company, I believe that is relevant to learn. However, it does not appear that any here today have that knowledge, and they might be brought back at a later time to tell the truth of their accounts, if such a trial occurs, if such evidence can be found. However, until that trial occurs and new evidence comes to light, this trial itself appears concluded for now. Until such time as we can ascertain intent to collaborate or attempt to conspire, I believe that Kudesi is innocent of these charges. Unless there's any more to say, I will go ahead and conclude this trial.
I mean, you rendered verdict. That's literally the last
Yeah.
line. So, yep, there we go. Alright, now, here's the ironic part. Normally I would have to talk to the bailiff about getting my funds back, but in this case, I mean a court bailiff and not the actual bailiff.
Right, you can definitely go downstairs to the jailer with the judge, and you can talk to it and get your gold back very easily. At which point, you and Kudesi are free to go about your business.
Oh, I was always free to go.
Oh, yes, you were. I don't know. If you defend someone, you take the same sentence.
That could happen. It's not
exactly how it goes.
Yeah,
It's
but
not.
we weren't going to lose this, though.
Time.
Also,
Gustav, can you prove the entire defensive bench is working with the Skaven?
well, considering that we are all falling under high law, that would never happen.
By law, I'm obligated to tell the truth.
That
so.
doesn't matter, though. When you get to the point where you're trying to accuse all the nobles of something, doesn't matter. If you're telling the truth, they're just going to shut you up.
The thing here isn't that nobody believes you. They definitely believe that you went to the mercenaries, ended up hiring a Skaven, and the Skaven went out with you and died out there. And also was accompanied by this individual from the mercenary company. But it's hard to prove that this person intended something when nothing happened.
Yeah, but we're in Warhammer. That's why, like, kill first and ask question later. I was kind of expecting the racism to help me, but oh well.
Yeah, again, the problem is that we brought
3 lawyers.
Yeah, we brought noble lawyers with us. The racism didn't matter because the nobles didn't care about the racism.
We're not in a to-day legal court of those, so I could see
of
like
course,
fallacious argument like that.
Racism to a priest of Verena, the person looking for the truth.
And ultimately, the truth didn't matter because it was all character. So.
The Sigmarite will, of course, put his hand on your shoulder, Gustav, and go, I will stop at nothing to uncover the Skaven conspiracy. This I guarantee you.
I will burn the city to the ground if need be to find out.
But of course, as part of your representative, I must inform you that all things said here cannot leave, and we're not allowed to inform the public of the danger still. And if you were to say anything, it would be counted as treasonous.
I will not say.
Good. Then our work may continue, even if it must continue in silence. At which point, Eisen, the bailiff, and Lady Renaud will approach you and tell you that their meeting is coming due, and they will go together.
Right. I'm supposed to come, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll follow.
On your way, of course, though, the priest of Verena will stop you and go, I need you just over here for a few moments. And distract you with a few things that you need to sign just to conclude the, that you were here, that you gave your statements, and, since you are, of course, a, important wizard at the time being, it's important to have everything down straight.
Sure.
So you're kept to some papers temporarily. And when you start to, head up, towards, the meeting area, you will, feel a chill down your spine. Everything kind of goes black and white around you in your vision of magic. And right beside you, shoulder to shoulder, facing the opposite direction, is someone that you know.
Ooh.
Doop.
Oh.
Two players.
Oh.
Hello, Gustav.
You scared me. I thought it. Never mind.
Well, it's probably best if nobody sees me here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I'm back in town and that I'm very happy with your work. I've been there and I've seen that it has not been touched. I'm very relieved to know this.
Yeah.
You've done great work, Gustav. I'm very proud with how you've done.
Thanks.
And it seems that you've made quite a number of friends too.
Didn't help me today, but yeah.
Well, you can't catch everyone at every moment. But that's why you just need to watch and wait. I have plenty of business to attend to, but maybe I could add a little bit more to my list. As it stands, though, I have something to give you. And he will go ahead and hand you a sealed letter.
Huh.
Take this to your meeting. This is part of my own report. However, of course, I can't possibly attend.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Like, nobody's gonna hear that, right?
I've made sure of it.
Why did you leave college?
He takes a moment and takes in a deep breath to consider his answer. I'm trying to think of like the proper answer to that too. Like what's the best way without giving everything away?
I'll
It
tell you
is-
later.
It is as part of my work. The storm of chaos threw everything off, and we've decided to stay lower to the ground. Many of the cults that we observe have also gone deeper underground to maintain a surface presence.
I
Would perhaps scare them away more.
So you
We appear
didn't,
gone, we can learn more.
so you didn't really leave college.
Well, the truth is, you can never really know when we're around or not. So always better to be on your best behavior.
I see. Alright, I'll give them later. Thanks for coming by. I mean, most lab is in 13 days, approximately. You can never be sure with a damn mood.
Always a worry. But at least I should be able to take over that duty again while I'm still here.
Yeah, but Newton seems to know about the pill.
They always do. They always
Hmm.
hear its call.
I see.
But if they ever touch it once, they hear it all the more. It becomes harder and harder to take care of.
I see.
Still, fortunately, no one else knows. Hopefully it
I-
can stay that way.
No majors, at least.
Still, stay on your guard. And continue your learning.
Do you want me to be there next time our celeb's full?
If nothing else, I'd appreciate the company.
Very well.
And at this point, he walks away and around a corner, and you don't even hear his footsteps as he leaves, and color sort of returns to the area around you.
Hmm.
Ah,
I'll go back to the meeting.
you go to the meeting, and of course you see a table set up in a closed room, no windows, center of the building. And of course you see a few people taking some light precautions, casting some sort of spells. One of them definitely appears to be a wizard of shadows.
Huh.
And it appears it is part of his duties to be here right now. Of the few that actually are in the college. And of course, as soon as he's done, he immediately leaves. Leaving you with Bailiff Jacob Frankfurt at the front of the table. At his side is Lady Renette Mayer, of course looking as radiant as always and impossible to look directly at for too long. Also next to the bailiff is Sir Eisen. Also at the table are two people you haven't seen before, but that you have heard somewhat of. One of them is Sir Walter. He is the Wizard Lord of Beast.
Oh,
He's an old man who wears a red and blue suit,
where is the suit?
a wide-brimmed hat with an enormous multicolored feather at the top of it. He has a scraggly, unkempt beard that appears to have bits of dirt and twigs in it, and he has incredibly long fingernails. He looks like he is a well-dressed hobo, if nothing else. Also at the table, you see a young man with eyebrows that are on fire. You know he is Lucas the Young. He is the Wizard Lord of Fire. And he is maybe a year older than you at most.
Wow.
But he has his arms crossed and as he's at the table, leaning back in his chair somewhat. And he appears to be, maybe a bit on edge and energetic. And, of course, there is you, as you sit down at the table with them. Well, I'm glad that you're all here. It's time once again that we reveal what we have learned about the city's defense to each other, and coordinate some sort of plan for the future. Of course, Gustav here is invited, as Eisen has said that he has special information, and he has had the most interaction with the forces that may come to us. I have received word. I will begin first. I have received word lately that a nobleman was ambushed out in the mountains to the north. There were two large hosts that could come this way at any time, and we need to be prepared. I've been told that they are mutants and Northmen. The scouts that I have sent have clarified to me that there was a battle in the north, and only one side survived. It is possible that they have gone south and are in Middenheim now. Lady Renette follows up next. I have been investigating the Jade Scepter ever since Gustav had uprooted one of their locations. From the letters we have divulged, it appears to have been their only one. This cult was not aware of any others that had survived after the siege and their failed attempts to summon demons. We questioned the owner, Dretz Brandt, and he appeared to have no knowledge and in fact rarely visited the restaurant. He had mostly left it to its own. So his ignorance perhaps allowed this to flourish. However, he is not guilty of conspiring, if anything, at this time. The former owner, Mildred Morgan, had the property only briefly after her parents' death, and admitted to visiting only once. She too is cleared of charges at the time due to ignorance, and it would appear that and as far as we know, her parents perhaps did not have any involvement in any cult activity, as far as we are aware. One of the dead individuals at the scene could not be identified. It is possible he is unimportant or a criminal. So perhaps he was connected to other elements in the city. The two dead women were wives of absent nobles who have gone to fight with Sir Todbringer. On our search of their estates, we found occult items, manuscripts, and letters. Letters from the cult magus, Kaguri, as she is known, confirmed that they were among her supporters and used their businesses to lure in refugees and beggars. We have since gone about closing these businesses and making sure that they are cleansed of any sort of demonic presence. As it stands, there are still 3 conspirators that we have not identified, but that were mentioned in the letters. Their influence seems to indicate that they are also nobles within the city. 2 of them are female, and 1 is male. It would appear that the Jade Scepter operates as it always has, with a wide number of low-level cults that feed into the higher orders. But of course, we know of only this one at present. It is perhaps that their cult may soon be wiped from this city. Gustav, you were going to say something.
Yes, I've been off recently. There, I can confirm them 2 armies far out and only 1 survived. However, in the mountains north of Middenheim, there are chaos snipers. Seems to be waiting, and some greenskin are still supposed to be alive, from what I can guess. But someone seems to have been using trolls dispersed in the region. I also received a vision the other night of an invasion by the cultist of Tinch, and I've these 2 reports, and he will awkwardly grab the letter and put it on the table, not really knowing what to say about it.
Alright, they look at the letter curiously and open it to read it. I've gone ahead and added that to our list of handouts.
Ooh.
And I'll go ahead and read it out right now as well. The letter reads that after the attack on Untergard, the Beastmen army was seen moving in the area and eventually arrived at Grimmenhagen, resulting in its 2nd sacking this year after first being sacked by Archeon. The people fled to Graf Sturmhauer's keep and held their defense. They reported that the army was made up of a substantial amount of mutants who notably had rifles to snipe them off the walls. They had no weaponry for the siege and did not attack the walls as they had at Untergard. There are few villages with enough powder and rifle to outfit an entire army, and the likeliest location for this amount, Baden-Esselberg, was reportedly not sacked despite both armies having traveled through its region. It bears investigation. To this, everyone takes a moment to think. So this army of mutants came from the south, went to the north to deal with some business, and is coming back again then, is it not? That would seem the likeliest explanation.
Oops, sorry.
At which point, Eisen will go ahead and say his part as well. I believe I might be able to shine a slight little bit of light on it. When peering into the stars to learn about this invading army, I saw many signs. The first was a fire, an omen of anger, vengeance, and of course a fight. There may be motive in whatever is coming our way, as opposed to Archeon's forces seeking to merely drown us in their unholy tide. The second was a rain of shooting stars, and I believe this sign indicated that our new enemies must be highly intelligent. Perhaps their use of snipers could indicate this as well. And lastly, I saw the sign of the lost son. He may believe he is some great player, he could be after some title or doing some great deed. So he is undoubtedly no less fanatical than our other opponents. Let's see. And to all this, Sir Walter will also go ahead and add. I had watched the trails of the Beastmen during my research in the Drakewald, and from what I have seen of the bailiff's reports, this winning army, may be using those same trails to mask itself and slip by our usual observations. These mutants may have already be allied to the Beastmen. It'll be all the more troubling for the city if their army should join up in full now, and perhaps acquire some siege equipment in the process. Otherwise, we may be helpless but to observe as they raid our undefended villages at will. The bailiff will sort of think briefly. and say to everyone, then it seems our current best choice would perhaps be to stay the course, to continue defending Middenheim, make sure that it does not encounter another siege, or rather, is not attacked while we are gone. Toddbringer's army in the field will clean up anything out there, and unfortunately, the villages that must fall in the meantime must fall.
Bailiff, if I may.
Absolutely.
We have a gigantic amount of refugees right now. Maybe they could be formed into some militia, and we could send some of them to try to rescue as many villager and resources we can by evacuating villages that are close to us as soon as we can. This way we will have less unrest in the city among the refugees and more resources to spare in case of a siege or...
Lucas will stand up and, slam one of his hands down on the table in support of you. Go, yes! You're right. We should arm them up, and we should head out. We should just cower here in the face of this new enemy. Toddbringer is hunting down Archeon's forces, and that lets us free to sally out and engage this nuisance before more people die. Why should we hide if all they can do is run? The bailiff, meanwhile, will sort of hold up his hand to try to calm Lucas down a little bit. I've heard this sort of argument from the nobles so far. They're definitely very free in their opinions on this matter, as it would free them up from having to deal with the refugees in their daily life. However, these men that have fled are not soldiers. They're farmers and craftsmen. And we simply don't have the equipment available to equip all of them anyway.
Oh.
I doubt they would be a very effective fighting force, and sending them out to die first... it weighs heavily on me. But at the same time, if they stay here in this city, we are running shorter and shorter on food this season. There may be more than just the refugees getting angsty if this keeps up, if we do not find a solution.
I wasn't, planning to send them to die, but maybe, safety is in numbers, so...
I understand.
I don't know.
You have a better heart than some of the nobles that I speak with, at the very least. But still, at the time, I can only think to refuse, unless perhaps we could go out to the villages and acquire more equipment.
Well,
I believe that letter mentioned, what was the location again? Maid Esselberg. I believe they are a weapon manufacturing village. The two noble families came together, as far as I recall, to form a better business. They sell us quite a lot of gunpowder weapons and gunpowder itself. Though we haven't received very much as of late, and I'm curious as to why. And of course, that letter only makes me all the more suspicious. We need to send someone to investigate. Which I suppose is all the more reason that we called you here, Gustav.
me?
Several of the wizards sort of nod. Well, you come highly recommended, and of course the wizard lords here must stay and attend to their duties. And I simply could not leave either. I did not necessarily think that my scouts would be the appropriate measure to take here. But you've proven trustworthy in the past, and at the very least perhaps you could uncover something that we cannot, or have not yet.
I
Not expected to be a dangerous mission, outside perhaps from simply traveling there in the first place, but, well, I suppose simply knowing something is up would be better than being purely blind.
I can't refuse, but
You can't refuse, of course.
no,
I'll have to find someone else, but I do trust you.
I know. The security of the city is paramount to me, but last mission, I was sent on was a disaster.
Eisen sort of avoids your eye contact for a little bit.
Uh, so I guess, but I don't know. Guess I could try, but I'm not sure if I'm. Well, I just hope. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Yeah, we'll take the mission, but with hoping that it won't be more successful than the last one I undertook.
I suppose at this point you wouldn't want to hire more mercenaries.
Not
Baylor
no.
sort of chuckles a little bit.
Not really, no.
But perhaps you have your own friends you could go ahead and bring
No.
along with you.
I have one, maybe another.
Still, you have our support, and if you need food or horses, we can definitely make sure that you're provided with them for this mission.
Well, I'll see who I can find to accompany me. I don't
See.
have the skill to survive alone in the wild.
Let's see. Is there anything else Gustav wants to address to the room or suggest for the time being?
Not really, I think.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here as the night concludes. Yes.
Can we at least try to get that one Mordred thing out of the way?
Absolutely. What's... Oh, right. Mordred, that's right. You were, last talking with some of your companions, I believe, right?
He puts the body down and says, I found him deeper in the tunnels.
Right.
And he gives a junction number.
Right, and they talk about it some time, and they don't think this is, their friend that went down there. Perhaps her body is elsewhere, but this one is, or at least the remnant that you had found is, kind of strange. But they will talk to you for some time, and at least mention that, they're sort of considering quitting at this point, seeing as how there's these dead bodies, and you've come back, like, not only bloody, but burned. How did that happen?
Oh, it was a glorious battle.
It must have been. Well, we've heard that there's, work that can be found elsewhere if you want to come join us.
Very well.
Anything better than dying down here at the very least. I think... What was the guy's name? The one we're supposed to find. Berthold, isn't it? Yeah, I think he's some rich noble. I think he hangs around the barracks just outside the Midden plots.
Rich noble. Shit.
Hey, money is money. And if I can get it without risking my neck every day, all the better.
True.
So Berthold. You will, in fact, be approached by a small set of people. A dwarf and two, humans. Who are looking for work.
Okay.
I can't see the previous message, so I don't have all the details, but I'm assuming that, people know where to find you.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. It's just that my previous message was alluding to the fact that I was looking for a bodyguard, and now I'm approached by 3, which, I mean, if people are looking for work, it's not beyond. I throw a sword on the ground and say, fight each other, and whatever wins gets the job. I mean, that's not true. That's not how I play things.
But they'll go like, well, we heard that you're looking for a bodyguard, and, well, we can fight. Mostly rats, but, well, that ought to be enough.
As I look at them, you
They
understand.
definitely look a little frail at the very least, or maybe not frail, maybe malnourished is the word here.
You
dwarf looks in
understand
better
that
shape.
the job opening was for one bodyguard at 1 gold crown a week. Yes?
Just one, you say? How dangerous is this work?
My previous guards are all dead.
Just my kind of work.
What sort of things you need bodyguarding from? Just like the riffraff, right?
I was assaulted by greenskins last time I was traveling.
The
Fucking
two humans will kind of look
greenskins.
between each other, and then look down at the dwarf, and then back at each other, and then at you. I think greenskins is maybe not enough. Or, well, that amount isn't enough for greenskins. You know
They
what?
are
Dying in the
right.
sewers isn't any better than dying in the woods. At least I have a chance against rats. And they'll go ahead and pass on the offer and walk away.
Sir, I know my weapons. I know my way around the fight. In fact, I fought off 4 rat-shaped beastmen in the sewers not too long ago.
2 of them were just giant rats.
To be fair, he might not know that.
And to be fair, he is also upping the number as well.
Yeah, so
So he is like...
he's trying to
This is
oversell himself. I mean, what's your haggle roll? Let me see that haggle roll for your upsell.
Alright.
I want to know.
How convincing is the dwarf? Ancestral grudge activates.
Not very.
I see.
And they were this big.
Well, he's a dwarf. His hand can only go so high.
Exactly. So it seems
As
less
long as they're only
impressive.
so wide, yeah.
And where are you staying?
I don't think we had that established. He's
I think you
probably
were
staying
renting a common room.
I'm currently
far.
running a common room in the drowned rat.
Yes. So you sleep where everyone else sleeps.
And looking at you, what's your weapon?
Warhammer.
And your armor?
Absolutely none.
And is your dog with you too?
Yes. Barking like a little menace.
Well, if I were to take you on board, we'd have to do something about that. He gestures to the dog.
Woof.
Oh, it's
This
Jack Russell.
dog. Oh, it's a rat terrier.
Well, it looks the face looks like a Jack Russell to me. I mean,
That dog is loyal to more humans I've known.
yes, but it is loud and annoying.
Alright, we've got to bring
Once he
the
gets
dog
used
on
to you,
that
he'll
adventure.
quit. Let him get to know you. Come now, it's just a dog. As if a creature this small could harm you. It's only for the rats.
It's more about, wave a hand around the head area. The ears, you understand. The more annoying sounds you hear, the less you're able to hear of the good sounds.
There's good sounds in this city.
Yes, you just have to attend the right part. Oh, fuck, I've missed my
Wolf.
party. Damn it, Gustav! I had a party to attend tonight, and now you've put me through this foolishness.
Oh no.
It was important shit to get done. Now you've actually screwed me up.
Oh no.
And with that dramatic note, I think if those negotiations are done, if you're actually adding the dwarf,
Yeah, I'll hire him. So I'll give you 1 gold crown right now for the week, and you remind me in a week, and I'll pay you another gold crown.
All right.
Gold
Alright.
crown a week is the pay.
we'll
You're
go
my
ahead
bodyguard.
and conclude the session. Everyone will go ahead and receive 200 experience for going on their own little adventures, for doing a big court case out of all this, which was fantastic. For learning more information, for fighting rats, and for turning into mutants. So a fantastic time was had. Any thoughts to wrap up with?
No, but an announcement.
Okay.
But it doesn't concern Warhammer, so it's alright.
Doesn't what now?
Doesn't concern Warhammer. Oh yes, no. I wanted. Yeah. I'm sorry. I should have not done this. I was into the character, and this was.
It's okay.
stupid.
But
No,
hopefully everyone had fun with their parts today. I'm sorry Mordrin got kind of like sidelined a little bit.
No, I'm sorry,
Well,
Dre.
Considering what he went, he had a good fight. He feels bad about having fucked with those guys and then prepped their mutation card, but live and learn.
But it is an interesting and at least a very hideable mutation. I'm actually
Yes.
wondering how you end up unnerving when it's internal to you until you're hit.
He's probably unnaturally hot.
Yeah, I mean, you can
A
see
hot dwarf, of course.
you can generally see your veins, so maybe they're a bit different. Just not enough to go mutants, but enough to go ooh, ew. But yeah, sorry again. I hope you. It was stupid of me. From another character standpoint, it didn't make any sense for me.
Oh, and just you gave us 200 XP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. If there's nothing else for now, I'll go ahead and conclude the session, and glad everyone had fun.
Yes, thank you for running.
Alright. Thanks again everyone for showing up, and I'll catch you next time.
Wait. If we're not, if someone want, if you, you or Tita want to talk about vampire, I'll be very big to help. Hurricane do his character, and I kind of want to talk to you about grief. But if that I want to talk about something about your character, if you have some time.
Okay. I want to talk about it too. I'm gonna head out to lunch here and be back in like an hour.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So, I'll catch everyone a little bit later.
Later.
See ya.